If you're planning on buying any cards from TCG Player, make sure you use our affiliate link right here in the description of our video to help support the channel. It's the best way to do it and it's free. And if you need any code cards, make sure you check out Potown Store for automatic email delivery and use code Tablemon for 5% off all your purchases. If you're from Europe, mealybotsgaming.com is a great option to get your cards from. They have all sorts of sealed products, merchandise, and all the sets available from Pokemon Sun and Moon upwards, including the latest Hidden Fate set. Don't forget to use Tablemon code when checking out to get a further 5% off from your final purchase. Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new Road to TCG Worlds 2020. Thanks so much for joining me again. We are still going over the decks from the latest regionals, and I did want to feature Stéphane's top 8 Guardian deck. It's very similar to the list that ended up winning the last regional in Europe in Sheffield not too long ago. Very surprised that Europe had this like 2 regionals back to back, and then they seem to have a period with not so many events, but I assume still some special events are going to be announced then. But anyways, that's not the point. Stéphane, huge congrats on making top 8. His list, as I mentioned, very similar to the previous list that did well, except he has less tool cards, less tool cards at his disposal, and also less healing, right? And he ended up trading that for extra consistency in the form of the 4 greens, the 4 coach trainers, but the extra builds, Cynthia and Erica. So a lot of variety there. Only 2 great potions, only 2 lightning fairy charm with the 1 psychic fairy charm and the 1 ultra beast fairy charm. Granted, the way the games play out against those decks, I do agree that 1 Ultra Beast Fairy Charm should be enough against a standard Blacephalon deck to end up beating them. However, the Psychic Fairy Charm, the 1-up, I feel like that's definitely not going to be enough if people start playing a Tord-esque version of Mewtwo. If you're playing up against something like a Sult's version of Mewtwo, then 1 Fairy Charm is definitely enough, simply because you also have 4 power plants, but without Reshisart, the Mewtwo deck has absolutely no way to bypass a single Fairy Charm. If the decks do play Reshisart, then that's where the Psychic Fairy Charm comes in, and it makes a huge difference. However, with just 1, I mean, it depends on how the meta evolves. If the meta trends towards more Tord-esque based versions of the deck, then Guardian should have a worse matchup against that deck overall. But if decks trend towards a Sult's version of the deck, then we should be seeing Guardian still maintain its success. Other than that, the deck is pretty standard. We have the Power Plant, the Wondrous Labyrinth, and of course we have our Guardians with the 2 great attacks, 3 great attacks rather. Fairy Song allowing you to attach 2 Fairy Energy to one of your benched Pokemon, or to any of your benched Pokemon any way you like. Kaleidostorm allowing you to move energy around, make sure that you are planning for what your opponent may or may not do during their next turn. And Magical Miracle GX dealing a very solid 200 damage, but also allowing you to shuffle your opponent's hand back into the deck if you have at least 3 extra fairy energy attached to it. So pretty cool overall. And we have the Xerneas GX 180 HP with 3 pretty decent attacks as well, but especially the Sanctuary GX, which allows you to move all damage counters from each of your Pokemon to your opponent's active Pokemon, is incredibly useful because out of the blue you can completely heal 1 or more Gardevoir GXs and also take a knockout whilst bypassing things like opposing Fairy Charms or things like Tack Purge. You also get to bypass things like spell tags. You do not activate spell tags, so there's a lot of synergy between the two. I definitely really like Xerneas as a partner Pokemon for Guardian, and so let's jump into a ladder, get a couple of games in, see how the deck ends up working out, and yeah. So did want to say thank you guys so much for the support over the last couple of videos. Torch deck got over 5,000 views, which is amazing. Usually in this period where we are at, in between like sets, deck profiles never get that much in my channel, so I'm really happy to see that. Thank you so much for the support, guys. It's been a few difficult days with everything that's been happening. If you don't know what's been happening, I've been posting updates over here on YouTube, but also on Facebook and Twitter, and the channel definitely took a financial hit when I'm not. It always takes a financial hit when I'm not uploading videos and whatnot, so I really appreciate the support on Tort's video and Pedro's video as well, and hopefully we keep it up. Yeah, I'm gonna try and keep at least daily videos until I can get back to a regular streaming schedule. Right now I'm having to deal with a lot of paperwork and adult stuff. A lot of things came together at the same time, but slowly getting there. Slowly getting there. Okay, so with this hand, I actually appreciate the fact that I have the Ericas because I'm going second. And I'm really rooting for my opponent to get a solid start, especially now that we know we're up against Malamar Giratina. Why would you ever bench the Gardevoir Giratina to start off? I have no clue, but I guess we'll take it. Now we're really rooting for my opponent to get those in case, especially going first. Why would you ever bench the Gardevoir Giratina? It makes absolutely no sense. You're only asking to risk it, to have it be a risk, because you don't know what you're up against. But if my opponent paid attention to the previous screen, he might have been able to assume what he was up against. And so my Ericas is now a coach trainer. I actually top deck the coach trainer, so I don't have to worry myself about finding the Ericas. This is pretty troublesome though, that I didn't find a Guardian to Fairy Song onto. But with what my opponent has, there is the possibility. There's definitely the possibility that I could get knocked out, so I'm gonna Fairy Song 1 energy. I can transfer energy to the Cernias, but I can't transfer energy away from the Cernias, so that's pretty relevant. I thought about playing one energy switch for these awkward scenarios, but the chance of this happening is not super high. And then worst case scenario where my opponent goes switch, power up this guy, GG and get rid of my Guardian. It wouldn't be the end of the world, purely because it wouldn't be the end of the world as long as I found a green off of this Pokegear, so I can go for Dual Cherish, switch, attach, power up, and then threaten, right, with the next Guardian. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens here. So, like I said, a few mechanics issues, I guess, with my opponent. Using Psychic Recharge before you play the Analyzer, there's absolutely no reason to do that. Alright, and then my opponent very valiantly, right, decides to promote the active Gardevoir Giratina. Now, this is kind of an issue, I will not lie, because now, if I were to decide to Fairy Song, I guess I would have to Fairy Song onto each Gardevoir. So as long as I find a green here, not quite. Okay, that's really bad. That is very bad. If only this has just been a Gardevoir instead. So I'm kind of liking doing this, right? And then if I go attach and overrun, I'm still not getting the knockout with Aurora Horns next turn. But I'm thinking if I attach to this, then I'm just getting GG ended. So there's not, well, assuming my opponent does that, right? There's no guarantee. Okay, so I guess this is what I was kind of hoping for. An energy, a Gardevoir Sylveon, and then I already have a tag switch. As long as this Pokegear can find me a greens, I am going to be a happy camper. And then the overrun damage, I'll put on the Giratina in case I ever end up using Aurora Horns on the Giratina for whatever reason. But basically the plan next turn is to find with the Pokegear a greens, and then with the greens find a switch and an energy spinner, and then I can go energy spinner for an energy attached to it, attach to the Guardy, tag switch from one of the Guardies to the one that has 2 energy, switch into the Guardy, and then take the beloved 3 prizes that my opponent very kindly gifted me. He will end up using GG and GX on the active. Probably the worst target that my opponent could have chosen, because now I don't even need the switch, and there's the green. So I prefer green over any of these because the green guarantees the energy. The green definitely guarantees the energy, and I'm pretty happy about that. I am definitely pretty happy about that. There's no point to the choice element. I'll just grab another greens in case I need to heal at some point. And then I'll go for the energy spinner. So I had to split my energy. Also because it feels like my opponent might not even be familiar with what my own deck is trying to accomplish right here. Should I attach this? I guess I'll attach it here. The only tool that might matter is the choice element. But basically my opponent traded 3 prizes for absolutely no reward. There is the threat of another Garchomp Giratina coming to attack me, but no more threat of GGN because there's no more GX attack. So we're in a pretty okay spot, I'd say. Pretty okay spot for now. I'm very confident we're just gonna outright win this game. There's absolutely no way my opponent will be able to take down 2 Gardevoir Sylveons before I take down 3 more prizes. So in 3 more turns the game will be over. Unless my opponent decides to bench another Garchomp Giratina. I would not mind that at all. Alright, so there's a Stellar Wish. There's a Custom Catcher for 3. So there was a scenario where my opponent went bench another Garchomp Giratina, powered up, double Custom Catcher, bring up the Gardevoir Sylveon, but it won't necessarily be this one. My opponent is able to find a Cynthia and a switch off of the Custom Catcher for 3, so pretty good on him. Definitely pretty good on him. Will be able to get an attack off. Decides to burn the 2 Custom Catchers. I do not mind this at all. I'd rather this Guardian be hit rather than this one, for sure. It's really not a big deal. And then I have a switch. Thanks to the greens, I do play 4. I have access to a Viridian Forest, which is really cool as well. I feel like I'm definitely not going to be reset stamping my opponent anytime soon. And off of the green, I'm kind of liking these 2. Definitely liking these 2. So I'll go ahead and switch. I'll go ahead and find a Guardian myself. And then I'll go ahead and attach. And then I'll Kaleidostorm. Getting the knockout, I would be very surprised if my opponent was able to get a knockout. Or get an attack off even next turn. All of 3 cards. decides to place all 4 damage counters on the active, surprisingly. I figured his plan might have been to activate multiple spell tags in order to KO this guy with spell tags and KO this guy attacking. But, or this gal. I guess Gardevoir and Sylveon can both be either gender. Right, so there's a Garchomp Giratina. Putting some damage counters down. We see the Stellar Wish for the Lily. My opponent needs switching card, energy, which he has, and double Malamar. He has one of them. Using Psychic Recharge before playing supporters, and that's been a constant for my opponent. Constant, not misplay, but sorry about that. Less than optimal play. Lilies for 3, still needs a Malamar, still needs to switch. There's the Garchomp Giratina. There's a Malamar as well. However, by benching that, all I need is another custom catcher piece. Unfortunately, there's no way for me to guarantee the custom catcher piece. But perhaps Bill's analysis after thinning with the Energy Spinner and the Verdant Forest might be able to help us out just to finish the game right here. There's no point in knocking out the Jirachi or even the Giratina if that's what attacks me. Decides to split the energy. That indicates that my opponent will not be attacking this turn. That 100% indicates that my opponent will not be attacking me this turn. And look, he even could have used Verdant Forest before the Lily in order to draw an extra card, but simply chose not to or forgot. And that's just beautiful. That is just absolutely beautiful to see. Thank you so much, deck, for the top deck to quite simply finish out the match right here. So I feel like in other situations, our slow start could have definitely been heavily punished by an opponent. But was not able to capitalize from that. He also GG ended the wrong target, I'd say. Feared a 1 energy Cernius more than a 1 energy Guardian. I actually split the energies hoping to avoid him GG ending a Guardian, but he ended up GG ending the Cernius. So poorly played by my opponent. Definitely a lot of room for mechanics improvement for them. And our deck had a bit of an awkward start, that's for sure. We were able to then stabilize, and hopefully this match... Ooh. Okay, so seems like we are up against a mirror match. Might be a 60 card mirror match. Might actually be a 60 card mirror match right here. We are going first, so we won't get the first Fairy Song down. And I believe this matchup, I mean, this deck only has 2 healing cards. And we see a Lusamine from my opponent, so definitely different than our list by at least 1 card, probably more. The rest looked pretty similar. We will take our 2 mulligans, thank you very much. Alright, so pretty decent looking hand. Pretty decent looking hand. I will go ahead and play the power plants just to make sure that my opponent has to keep all those power plants in their hand, and therefore makes the Magical Miracle GX and the Reset Stamp a little bit worse. I will go ahead and Coach Trainer. The Fairy Charm is actually pretty huge, so then I'll just go ahead and pass. So my opponent will be ahead in the energy department. Simply attaches and Fairy Songs. That will also be my deal. Did not play a single supporter, however, which is scary to think about. I feel like I should greens here. The choice helmet seems pretty good. I'll grab another greens. Cernius also seems pretty good. Don't really have the cards for Cernia, so I would have to search for them at some point. My opponent might just be able to attack me next turn, so that's why I went for the helmet. And then neither of us can get the GX attack next turn. My opponent might try to. Or maybe her hand is just really bad. Right? Which is something that Stéphane definitely made sure he... Oh! Something Stéphane definitely made sure he was not going to fall into. Right? Okay, so do I care if my opponent gets 3 prizes? I guess I do. I most certainly do. We've seen absolutely no draw support from them so far, right? So all I need to do is attach this, switch into this person, and then bench this guy. This gal rather, and then I might as well attach my fairy charms, right? There's no reason not to. And then we'll go Kaleidostorm. And then I'll go, I'm actually going to transfer all the energies to this Guardian. I'm pretty sure. So that this greens can't find me. Tag switch, or rather switch and energy spinner, which I've seen in the deck. And then next turn I can get the KO with the magical miracle GX. Okay, plays 1 great potion. I won't save that Guardian from getting knocked out. Oh boy. Is it gonna be Mina, attach, tag switch? No. Okay, so we're safe. Custom catchers for 3. So that's 1 custom catcher, that's 1 ghost less we have to worry about. So pretty unlucky that my opponent has not been able to find a supporter, but it seems like she is playing suboptimal supporters in the form of Mina and Lusamine. Alright, so now I can GX away her hand, but as far as we know, her hand is just not very good so far, right? As far as we know, her hand is definitely not very good. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna use my GX attack yet. I will go for the energy spinner. I will go for a switch because I need that to attack. Oh no, yeah. There's no way for me to do the Cernia's GX plate yet. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna switch. I guess there wasn't. No, there wasn't a way. So I'm gonna switch. I am going to custom catcher to damage this person so that both are in range of my GX attack. Maybe I should have planned to tank 2 hits and then go for the Cernia's KO on this. That would have been amazing. So if my hand is getting completely emptied next turn, I do have 3 more energy left. I do have 3 more energy left. I will energy spinner. For 1, I'm basically thinning, right? And then I will go Kaleidostorm. And then this is me telling my opponent, if you go for the GX attack, you are dead. because you lose all your energy from play. Therefore, don't go for your GX attack. And then I can go for my GX attack to completely heal all 3 Guardians. Hopefully through finding 8 greens for a switch, though I am down 3 greens, so it's not very likely. So we're both kind of playing a game of chicken here. Yeah, now it comes down to a point where it's tough to decide. If I'd been able to pull off the Xerneas GX attack this turn onto the 5 energy Guardian, that would have been brutal. I'm not sure I would have been able to find the right cards to do so though. So we finally see a greens. Double Great Potion doesn't help my opponent. Definitely doesn't help my opponent. Maybe I should have just attacked into this Gardevoir Sylveon with this Kaleidostorm. Maybe that would have been better. If my plan was to GX KO this with this, then that actually would have been better. Because that might have caused my opponent to whiff an attack. Right? I'm not sure. Double Great Potion is indeed the play that will put the Guardian out of range of getting healed by Magical Miracle. And then there's 1 card left in her hand. So that means she couldn't greens for greens. She's also down 3 Great Potions. I'm assuming she's gonna have a 4th one now. Wait, what? What? That makes absolutely no sense. What on earth was that? Wow, I do find the last greens. That saves me energies. That's huge. Out of all the possibilities, that one made the least amount of sense to me. Generally. That one made the least amount of sense to me. Yeah, I should just take this knockout. Eliminating 5 energy from the board out of a potential 9 energies with a 1 card hand. It's almost like I'm Magical Miracling. That was very weird. Out of all the scenarios, I think that was the worst one to choose for my opponent. That's what I mean. But we'll take it, right? We will definitely take it. Okay. I don't know what that fairy song was. I really don't. Yeah. I mean, fair. If the Xerneas GX is not on the bench, maybe I can see that where you tank a hit and then you Kaleidostorm, you move the energy around. I don't know, but that felt very suboptimal. Very, very suboptimal. But anyways, that will conclude today's video. 2 straightforward wins against opponents who definitely did not make the most optimal plays. My opponent in this game also didn't do particularly well, just as the Malamar player. I feel like both would have had a much better chance at winning if they ended up choosing the right play, right? There's always like 1,000 things to choose from. Some are better than others. It's not always super easy to choose the best play, but if your opponent is not playing to their best, and if you prepare for their best and then they don't choose the best option, then that's perfect because you were prepared for the worst case scenario and that didn't happen, so you're probably better off. But anyways, that will be all from me today, guys. Don't forget to leave a like. Really appreciate it. It means the world to the channel, and it helps other people find out the channel and grows the community even more. And if you have any questions or anything, let me know. I'll see you people tomorrow in our next video. Bye-bye.